Hey friends, Cherie here. Welcome back to the channel, Gardening at Home with Cherie. Well, we are in the grow room and I am about to start sowing some lettuces and leafy greens in my hydroponic systems, and I'm going to bring you along. I'm starting out with the hydroponic systems, and then I'm going to transition to my soil growing. And so yeah, in this video, we're going to go through a bunch of different things. So we're going to start off. First thing I'm going to do, I have bags and bags of free seeds from all my different orders from Baker Creek. And I know I have lettuces in here, so I'm going to pull out any lettuce and leafy greens as well as herbs, because we're going to start with the leafy greens, lettuces, we're going to do microgreens, and then I think we're going to do herbs in this video also, maybe even some flowers. But anyway, I'm going to go through, pull those out, and then I'm going to show you some new packs that I just got in. Some are reorders and some are new varieties. Okay, so here are some of the free seeds that we're gonna start in this video. I'm gonna start some of this tiny bok choy. It says here, the extra dwarf heads of this miniature bok choy are famous across China and in the US, a staple in many Asian dishes and perfectly bite-sized. It is said to have been grown first in the small Hong Kong village of Hak Tao. Probably pronounced that wrong, but gonna sow this packet. Then I had 3 packets of the cinnamon basil. Definitely gonna start some of those. I like to grow cinnamon basil outdoors and indoors. I don't have any basils growing well, I just have sweet basil growing right now, but I don't have any specialty basil growing right now, so I'm going to start a bunch of those. I have a lot of different basil varieties. I'm going to start these Landis lettuce seeds. Probably going to start both of these. I'm going to put some in the hydroponics, and then I'm probably going to sow whatever is left in soil just as microgreens. And I should say I'm doing this because I have a lot of lettuce seeds, and I'm finding that they just, at least for me, the way I've been storing them, the germination rate is decreasing, after a few years. And so I don't want to be wasting seeds. And so I'm going to understand that those are probably things that I have to buy every couple years, unless I will start letting heads go to seed and start saving my own seeds. We'll see. But for now, I'm going to get I'm going to try and sow up most of my lettuce seeds that are not from 2025 or 2026. I'm just going to sow them as microgreens and put them in the hydroponics and just get them used up so that they're not going to waste. So anyway, that's why I'm going to sow both of these packets of the Landis winter lettuce. And I'm pretty sure I have a packet or 2 that I actually bought. These are just the little free seed packs, and I feel like these don't have as many seeds as the packets do, but I'm using those up. And also because I got a lot of new varieties to try for this year, and so I just gotta get these old seeds put to use. And then I'm gonna sow both of these packets of the little gem. Same thing, I'm gonna put some in hydroponics. I might put some in some soil cells also, but I'm definitely gonna sow. I'm going to mix these in as a microgreen mix as well and get these eaten. So the little gem here, it says, is a 50-day, very small apple green romaine type heads. Excellent flavor, superb heat tolerance, sure to please. And then the Landis winter description says, an incredibly cold, hardy, classic Pennsylvania Dutch winter lettuce. This variety is a descendant of the now extinct 1700s variety called white tennis ball from the Roughwood seed collection. One of the most frost-resistant lettuces known, superb for winter harvest. So since these are newer seeds, I think what I'm gonna do, because these are just from these new seeds here are just from my latest 2 rare seed hauls. So I think what I'm going to do here is go into my seed vault and pull out the old seed packets of this and sow those first, because these will be great candidates to start early in my spring garden outside. I like to grow my leafy greens outside early spring already. So I'm gonna put these aside for that. And then let's see what it says about the basil. It just says cinnamon basil, annual spicy anise flavor, tasty Mexican variety. So, I mean, I've grown this lots. I grow it outdoors. I grow it indoors. So I'm gonna get those put to use as well. And then next up, I'm gonna put these in the hydroponics as well. I have the Paris Isle Cause romaine lettuce and some iceberg head lettuce. I have some orange Swiss chard and some yellow Swiss chard. These are all, I did, M.I. Gardener, do their like mystery seed pack. It's pretty cheap. I can't remember. I feel like they end up being like 25 or 50 cents a pack. You don't know what you're getting. And I got 2 packs and I got a lot of great seeds. And so in staple seeds, I was really happy because they were things that I consume, but I don't, like I don't let my Swiss chard and stuff go to seed. I don't have a long enough grow season for that. I eat it. And so these are things that I, usually am having to buy new seeds for. So I was excited to get those because I actually was low on both of these colors. And then these two I have plenty of, but again, they're a little bit older seeds. And so it was nice to have some fresh seeds of that. So I'm gonna get these started as well. And then the final thing I'll share right now before I start sowing some seeds is some new seeds that I got in. These were part of my last 2 hauls that I got in December, early this year, 2026. So I got fresh seeds of this sanguine ameliori lettuce. My old seeds, that's when I realized too, I had some old seeds from like 2021 and the germination rate was terrible. And I really want to grow more of these. So I got 2 fresh packs. And again, I'm going to mix some of these in to grow as microgreens because I think that color mixed in with the dark green will be really pretty. And then I want to grow some individual ones in the hydroponics as well as in soil. So this says here, let's see what this says about this pack. This says it's called a strawberry cabbage lettuce, a 19th century French heirloom introduced to America by C.C. Morse in 1906 under the name strawberry cabbage lettuce. Petite cabbage or butterhead type plants, so charming with green leaves splashed in scarlet. So thrilled to have some fresh seeds, and I hope that they germinate well in the hydroponics, but I have some containers here. These are gonna be the containers that I use to grow also some of my lettuces in soil. Because that's the one thing I'm missing because of the holidays. I didn't set up a lot of my microgreens and stuff because I knew I had to, do some travel here and there. Plus I was working a lot. And so I didn't want to start stuff that I would end up neglecting. So I really just had the hydroponic systems going because, I just don't have to water or do much to those as frequently as I do with the soil. But now it's time to get some stuff in soil as well. So same thing, most of these new lettuces I'm gonna grow hydroponically as well as in soil. See what the difference is with the growing, and also this is a new variety for me. Look how beautiful that is. Ho-Shan red lettuce. This says here, a cosmic stunner for lettuce lovers. This heirloom boasts deep red leaves with crisp, juicy texture and a mild, sweet flavor. Heat tolerant and free of bitterness, it shines in the garden and on the plate. Bold, beautiful, and delicious. Truly lettuce on another level. So I'm excited to try to grow that and hopefully be able to consume it. I mean, these mixtures together would just be so beautiful on the plate. This is another favorite of mine. This is just getting a fresh seed pack. I did have some old ones that germinated quite well in the hydroponics, but I'm going to use those up and grow a lot of like baby lettuce with that. And then I'll use these fresh ones to try to grow the full heads again, like these here. Get some big ones that we can harvest. And so this one here says the Marvel de Quatre Seasons, or 4 Seasons Marvel lettuce. It says a pre-1885 French heirloom, crisp and tender, fine flavored, red blushed leaves. And again, this I've grown this one lots before. And so this looks like the regular, this looks like the regular green version of this one that we just talked about. I gotta see how to pronounce that, but I'm gonna say the Ho Shan lettuce. So this one here says, our testers and growers describe the flavor as sort of like Granny Smith apples. Oh, interesting. Goes great with poppy seed dressing, and it complements the flavor of apples and other fruit. Oh, that sounds fun. And so I can grow those and then mix those together in a salad. And then looks like I got 2 packets of this variety here. This is called the Manoa lettuce, maybe. Let's see what it says about this. This says crisp, sweet, and slow to bolt. Manoa lettuce forms full uniform heads of vibrant green, heat tolerant and adaptable. It's a reliable choice for gardeners seeking beauty, resilience, and fresh flavor in one easy to grow variety. Nice. The last lettuce that I'll share right now is called the Lava Lamp Romaine. Same thing, I got 2 packs of these. And again, it's so beautiful. It says here, with its ruby reds and emerald greens, Lava Lamp Romaine is straight out of a tie-dye dream. Crisp, crunchy, and sweet. Each bite is as pretty as it is fresh, with layers of color that make every salad a mind-blowing experience. And so that is just beautiful. And I will say here, I've been growing romaine lettuce since I started growing here in Minnesota. And I mean, the romaine lettuce that, at least for me and my soil and how I grow, is nothing like the stuff you get in the store, which is usually just kind of like, you know, water, fiber. Even the organic varieties, I mean, they don't have a ton of flavor. The romaine lettuces, I've grown so many different varieties. I have some favorite varieties that I grow that are from Johnny Seeds as well. And they actually taste like they have a taste, like you feel like you're eating something. So yeah, I love growing. I like the leafy greens, you know, the little baby greens, but I love growing romaine lettuces. And so yeah, it's just it's a whole different world than the stuff that you get in the store if grown properly. And then the last 2 things that I got in the latest haul that I'm gonna start today. This is a radicchio variety, and I mean, just look, I got that solely based on the look. The coloring is so intense. I have a lot of radicchios. I have pink hued ones, but most of them are kind of that like red burgundy, like this lettuce. I don't have any. This is almost like black, like the coloring is so deep on these. And so it's the Treviso Scorze radicchio. I'm gonna try and look these up before I do my next video, just to make sure I'm pronouncing these correctly. But it says here, this Italian heirloom from the fields of Scorze is a stunning addition to any garden. With tall, upright heads and deep burgundy leaves, veined in white, it's a work of art. Its crisp leaves balance bitterness with sweet undertones, perfect for roasting, grilling, or serving raw. A true treasure. And so yeah, I am thrilled to give this a try. And in my previous haul, I haven't gone through those seeds yet, but I will in a little bit. I got some other radicchio varieties, new varieties as well. So yeah. And then the last thing, I am gonna try, I don't know if I'm gonna try this in the hydroponics just yet. I have more hydroponic systems that I'm gonna set up, but the 2 that I'm gonna set up today, I think I'm just gonna put lettuces in those. And then I'm gonna set up some other smaller units, like tabletop units, and I'll put some different leafy greens. And I have some small cabbages, not cabbage, what do you call it? Chinese cabbages that grow really quickly. And then I have some broccolis. I have some other things that I've tested in previous years and have grown well in the hydroponics. And so I'm going to restarting those. And so I might put one of these in there because I don't know how this is going to grow. And I don't want to, you know, waste too much space in my hydroponic systems. I'm trying to grow stuff that I've grown before that I know grow well because I want my food. But this, I'm definitely going to start in soil. And at minimum, you know, we'll try to keep this plant alive to take outdoors. Variety Otafuku chrysanthemum. Let's see. So on the back here, it reads, edible chrysanthemum holds a treasured place in Japanese cuisine where the brightly flavored leaves and lightly sweet shoots can be boiled, pickled, stir-fried, or tossed raw in salads. All right, I'm gonna get the rest of these free seeds put away. They'll get sorted later because some of them will get started as well indoors. Again, most of these I've already bought the full packs. And so we'll see. I might have to give some of these away. But for now, I'm just gonna put them aside. I'm gonna pull out my other bag of seeds that I got. I haven't, you know, I kind of counted them, but I haven't sorted them. So I'm gonna get those sorted so I can get the leafy greens that I wanna grow in the hydroponics out. Though I have plenty to start with. But I do wanna have a look to see if there's anything else that I definitely wanna start. And then I'm gonna figure out what's gonna go where. And I have to put some fresh water. I have to put some fresh water into all of these systems, get everything wiped down. I got them cleaned out, had to drain all the old water out, etc. But I'm gonna get these cleaned up and get my sponges in, and I'll start sowing some seeds. And then I think what I'll do is just kind of come back and tell you what I started so we can move on to the microgreens. Okay, so I got all of the pods sown with some seeds. This system here has a total of 60 pods. And then this one here has a total of 66 pods. As I said, I shared this in a short several times. And so this is my second time running these systems. And yeah, I'll probably do a full review at some point, but so far, so good. I have a couple minor things, but yeah, we're gonna keep testing this out. So amongst all those, these are the seeds that I've sown. I will, of course, share some progress. Hopefully I remember to share progress and harvest videos. So I sowed a lot of each of these seeds versus how often I do. I'll sow a bunch of different varieties. This time I want to focus on just these few here in the hydroponics. And now what I'm going to do is start some things in soil. Let me get these put away. Put these down here for now. So what I'm going to do now is get these trays here set up with some soil. And I'm going to sow some microgreens, baby lettuce, etc. And so I'm going to do 4 trays like this. So each of them will have 4. So it'll be a total of 16 different varieties of things. I have these down here. These will be the other 3. So I have a total of 4. And then on this shelf here, well, we'll see. I might use these microgreen containers, though I might just put some more. Yeah, I think I might do maybe 2 larger trays of just the lettuce microgreens. I'm not sure. I'm going to figure that out as I go along. Maybe I'll go through, I'll see how many of these I can fit on the shelf and see how space efficient these are. And then I'll decide what I'm gonna do there. And then on this upper shelf here, ultimately, that'll be the third thing I start, though I might put that in a separate video, is I'm going to pull out my micro dwarf tomato seeds. I have a lot of them. I first started growing those in 2020. My first winter indoor garden was in 2020, and I had discovered the wonderful world of micro dwarf tomatoes and grew a lot, and it was a lot of fun having tomatoes over the winter. And so yeah, I've been growing them ever since. And so this year, I think I'm gonna dedicate a lot of space to, I might grow out all of the varieties, but that's why I might do that in a different video, because maybe what I'll do is share all the varieties of the micro dwarfs I have and get them cataloged. So yeah, I think that is going to be the plan. So let me start with these different microgreens, getting the soil ready and getting those sown. All right, so I have 16 trays ready. These are 4x4 inch trays. And yeah, I've already started pulling some seeds, and I'm gonna get these first 16 done, and then I'm gonna decide which containers I'm gonna use for the next round. So I'm going to, these are the first 8 that I'm gonna start off with. All right, so I have my next 8 packages ready. We'll get those sown. All right, friends, so I got a total of 16 leafy greens sown. I got some turnip leaf sown. I got this Premier Kale blend, the purple lady bok choy, the prize choy, some Japanese giant red mustards, tatsoi, chijimi sai, some wasabi arugula, this Gigante d'Averno spinach, Bloomsdale long-standing spinach, giant noble spinach, Merlot Nero spinach, the Barice Swiss chard, Japanese mountain spinach or Swiss chard, the Galilee spinach, and the Monstreux de Viroflay, my French, spinach. So these are all sown in these little 4x4 inch trays, and they're just gonna be on their shelves growing. Okay, so we got a lot done so far. I am going to I'm gonna move up to this shelf here. I wanna get, I think I'm gonna do 2, I don't know what I'm gonna do here, because I do wanna get a lot of different, I wanna get a lot of different microgreens sown, and yeah, I spilled some seeds. Those are these umami Asian blend microgreens. I'm gonna scoop those up. And then I want to do some flats of the lettuce microgreen, which will probably have to go on the shelves behind me. So yeah, let me get those going, and I'll come back to show you what I decided to do. Okay, so next I'm gonna do the microgreens. I have a bunch of these larger trays, so I'm gonna use these for things that I want larger quantities of. I think I'm gonna start 4 of the larger ones, and then I think I'm gonna use these for the first time, and these will be like good portions but not quite as big, and we'll get to test those containers out to see how they do. And I'll use those for things where I don't, you know, they'll be more like accents to the salads, but and the same with the microgreens. And then I think I'm gonna do at least two full flats of like lettuce microgreens. So those will be, or baby greens, and those will be the basis for my salads while I'm waiting for all these lettuces that I planted in the hydroponic units to you know, get big enough to harvest. And I think what I'm going to do starting now is like every 3 or 4 days, I can set up like the next batch so I can keep those in rotation, because for most of those things, I have really large bags. And so I have plenty to keep that going. And then hopefully I won't have to buy a leafy green throughout the rest of this winter. All right, so the first 2 that I'm going to sow as microgreens, I was deciding, I have a bunch down here. But I think I'm going to use these as like the smaller ones, like single serving portions to try. And so for these bigger ones, I'm going to do this Jazzy microgreen because that's a good one to add to my little sandwiches and stuff. And I'm going to do the Wonder Beets just because I love my beets. All right, so let's get these sown, and then I'll be back to show you what else I am going to be starting. Okay, friends, so the final thing I'm going to do is set up some onions. I have 8 varieties that I'm going to start again in these 4x4 trays, and they'll just all be together in this one larger tray. Yeah, and so let me show you the 8 varieties of onions that I'm going to start. And I will link to a video. I have shared my seed sowing before, last season when I was doing indoor gardening. And I'll link to some of those videos in the description box as well. So I'm going to do the white Creole onion, the Weathersford red, flat of Italy, Unsen flat, Violet de Gaume, the round Tropea, Red of Florence, and then, how many is that? Let me see. And I decided to use the 8th one for this new hybrid seed that I picked up. I shared that seed haul already, but this is called a sweet garlic, and so it's a hybrid between an onion and garlic. And so yeah, I'm anxious to see how this grows. I got 2 packets so I can have one for outdoors, and then I'm gonna start this one indoors and just kind of see how it grows, and hopefully harvest and cook and enjoy some before I can start growing outdoors in May. So those are the 8 varieties that are going to go into this tray. I'm going to get these sown. We'll be back. Okay, friends, so that's it for sowing today. I got a lot done. I got these 2 hydroponic units set up. One hydroponic unit has 60 cells. This one has a total of 66 cells. And then we have 16 different types of spinaches and Swiss chard sown. We started 2 different kinds of microgreens. And then finally we did 8 varieties of onions. And so now I'm going to, like I said earlier, get my remaining shelves ready. I have a total of 10 large shelves, 2 separate units with 5 shelves each, with lights that are going to start to hold some of my other things. They are my seed starting shelves for the outdoor garden, but until I need to start those seeds, I'm going to be using those trays to grow microgreens and lettuces and things that I can grow over the next, 3 months or so, and get them harvested and consumed before I need that shelf space to start my seedlings for outdoors. So I'll be back with part 2 of this video as we continue starting the seeds for the indoor garden. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.